Welcome to part 4 of the Blender Design Figurine tutorial. We start with the same file we worked on in part 3. Let's set up a library of poses for the hands. With the armature selected and in pose mode, press Ctrl-Alt-Q for quad view. Zoom in on the right hand in each view. In Armature Data panel, set Display to Stick. In the Pose Library pane, click New. Press A once or twice to deselect all bones, then select the right hand bone and press Shift-G, choose Group, to select the finger bones belonging to the same group as the hand bone. In Pose Library, click plus for a new pose and name it R Hand Reset. Zoom in and select the left hand bone. Press Shift-G, choose Group. In Pose Library, click plus for a new pose. Name it L Hand Reset. Select the right hand and zoom in on it in the top right view with the period key on the numpad. Press Ctrl numpad 3 to set the view to left side view. To see better, enlarge the view with Ctrl up arrow and hide the properties with N. Keep tool shelf visible for operator feedback. We'll create a relaxed pose. The only challenge here really is the thumb, so let's start there. In top view, select the thumb base bone and press R to rotate, followed by Y, enter -45. Move the mouse pointer to the left view and press R to rotate, enter 30. Move the pointer to top view and press R to rotate, enter 35. Press the right square bracket to select the thumb mid bone, then press R to rotate, followed by Y, enter -12. And in top view, R to rotate, enter 28. Press the right square bracket to select the thumb tip, then press R to rotate, followed by XX, enter 6. This could equally be a negative value. Thumbs can be quite different on people. In top view, select the tip of the index finger and with Auto IK turned on in tool shelf options, in front view, press G and move the bone down to obtain a nice relaxed curve to the finger. The tip should be pointing almost vertically down, but not quite. Select the base bone on the index finger and in top view, rotate it slightly toward the middle finger by 2 or 3 degrees. Select the tip of the middle finger and with G in front view, move it into a similar position, but just slightly less curved than the index finger. Select the tip of the ring finger and with G again in front view, curve it down, placing it in a position between the middle and index fingers, hiding behind them. In top view, select the base of the ring finger and rotate it toward the middle finger slightly by 2 or 3 degrees. Select the tip of the pinky and in front view, move it down until it appears on the inside of the other fingers, like so. In top view, select its base bone and press R to rotate, followed by Y, enter 12. That's the relaxed pose done, so let's save it. Press Shift-G and choose Group to select the whole group of hand bones. In Pose Library, click plus for a new pose and name it R Hand Relaxed. Copy the pose from the Pose menu. Then again from the menu, choose Paste X Flipped Pose. Press A to deselect all, then in Bone Groups, click the L Hand group and click Select. In Pose Library, click plus to add a new pose and name it L Hand Relaxed. We're ready for the next pose, pointing the finger. In top view, select the base of the index finger, then press the right square bracket key twice to select the tip. In front view, press G and move the tip up to an almost straight horizontal position, but not quite. Hold down the Shift key for small changes. Now select the tips of the other 3 fingers in turn and curve them inward a little more so that the tip is almost horizontal, pointing back. If IK movement isn't cooperating well, use rotation of individual bones. The pinky should be the most curved. And the thumb mid and tip bones can be rotated slightly inward as well. Great, let's save the pose. Press Shift-G and choose Group. In Pose Library, add a new pose and name it R-Hand Pointing. From the Pose menu, copy pose, then Paste X Flipped Pose. Press A to deselect all, then from the group list, select the left hand group. Add a new pose to the library and name it L-Hand Pointing. Press A to deselect all and we are ready for the pinching pose. In Pose Library, click the right hand relaxed pose and apply it by clicking the third icon down on the side. Select the index base, press the right square bracket twice to select the tip, then in front view press G and move the finger into a tighter curve toward the thumb. Select the base bone, then in top view press R to rotate, enter -10, and R to rotate followed by Y, enter 8. Select the thumb base and press R to rotate followed by Z, enter 20, then R to rotate followed by XX, enter -15. Now select move and rotate bones in the thumb and the index finger as required to bring them together visually. To complete the pose, visually spread out the ring and the pinky. And let's record it. Press Shift-G and choose Group to select the whole hand. Add the pose into the Pose Library and name it R-Hand Pinching. Copy pose from the Pose menu and paste X Flipped. Press A to deselect all, then from the Group pane select the left hand group. In Pose Library, add the pose and name it L-Hand Pinching. Now the grasping pose. Select the thumb base on the right hand and in front view press R to rotate, enter -13. Then select the tips of the other fingers in turn and still in front view, move them with G so their bases are almost horizontal and all the fingers are in a row. Adjust the index finger, moving it closer to the middle. OK, looks good. Press Shift-G and choose Group to select the whole hand, then add the pose to the library, name it R-Hand Grasping. From the Pose menu, copy pose, and then paste X flipped. Press A to deselect all, and select the left hand group from the list. Add the pose to the library, name it L hand grasping. Finally, the fist pose. Visually rotate individual bones on the fingers into a tight fist. Bring the ring, pinky and index fingers closer to the middle. Finally, rotate the midsection of the thumb to close the fist. Press Shift-G and select the whole group. Add the pose to the library, name it R hand fist. From the Pose menu, copy, then paste X flipped. Press A to deselect all, then from the group list, select the left hand group. Add the pose to the library and name it L hand fist. That's it, the basic hand poses are done. Press Ctrl-Alt-Q to exit quad view, then W, clear user transforms all. In Armature display, back to octahedral. Next, let's complete the setup with IK targets on the legs. Select the right thigh bone and press Shift-I to set an IK target and choose to New Empty Object. In Bone Constraints panel, set chain length to 1. In Outliner, rename the empty that's been created DF IK R thigh. In Object Properties panel, turn on X-ray display. Let's create a new Properties window to reduce the number of clicks we have to do. Click the widget in top right corner of 3D view and drag it to the left. Switch the window to Properties. In Empty Data panel, set Display to Cube from the pop-up menu and size to 0.08. Now select the right shin bone, press Shift-I again, choose to New Empty Object. In Bone Constraints, set chain length to 2. Rename the empty DF IK R shin. In Object Properties panel, turn on X-ray display. In Empty Data panel, set Display to Cube and size to a larger 0.12. Select the right shin again, then press the right square bracket to select the right ankle and press Shift-I to New Empty Object. Set chain length to 1. Rename the empty DF IK R ankle. Again, turn on X-ray display, change to cube and set size to a smaller 0.08. In Outliner, drop the thigh and ankle empties into the shin empty so they will move along with the shin. Now we repeat the process on the left side. Select the left thigh, press Shift-I, create the empty. Set chain length to 1. Rename the empty DF IK L thigh, X-ray display. Then set the empty display to sphere to differentiate from the right side and set size to 0.1. Left shin, Shift-I again, empty, chain length 2, rename it DFIKL shin, X-ray, sphere, size to a larger 0.15, and left ankle. Shift I, empty, chain length 1, rename it DFIKL ankle, X-ray, sphere, size 0.1. In Outliner, drop the left thigh and ankle empties into the left shin empty. That's the IK targets done. The shin targets are the most important ones and will be the ones used to move the legs. Because the thigh targets are there to prevent lock and ensure the leg will bend in the knee, we should place them forward slightly as a default position. First, let's get rid of the second Properties window to enlarge the 3D view. Right-click the separator, choose Join Area and click in the window. Great, press numpad 3 for side view. In Outliner, click and shift-click both thigh targets to select them, then press G followed by Y, enter -0.4. Now, if we animate the rig as an object, targets should move along with it. So add an empty, set its size to 0.5, and in Outliner rename it Design Figurine Rig. Drop the armature and the 2 shin targets into it. If you move the rig empty, everything moves. Great. Next, select the hips bone in Armature, then in Tool Shelf Options, make sure Auto IK is turned off. Still in side view, press G and move the hips so that the figurine is in a sitting position. Turn on Auto IK, select the chest bone and move the bone into a slightly forward curving position. Select each hand in turn and move the arms down into a relaxed position. I'm going to apply the relaxed pose to the left hand and grasping pose to the right. Now let's move and rotate the left hand and arm bones to place the hand in a relaxed position on the thigh. As you've already seen, when we want to use Auto IK, we move bones with G, but we use R to rotate bones individually. When rotating, it's good practice to use the local coordinates of the bone with XX, YY, ZZ after R for rotation. If bones are difficult to select, use square brackets to go up and down the hierarchy, and use orthogonal views as needed. Next, the right hand. Let's position it as though holding a drink. OK, that looks good. Disable Auto IK. Press A once or twice to select all bones, then add the pose to the library. Name it Sitting. Note that for the legs, the pose records them in their default position as when the figurine is standing. But that's OK, the legs will be positioned by IK targets. Before we start moving the targets, there's something we need to address. There is no pose recording functionality for IK targets. As a minimum, we should be able to reset the targets to their default position, as they are now. We can do this with a script, and the code is very simple. Change the text editor window. From the text menu, choose Create Text Block and name it Reset DF IK Targets. Let's write the script. Type import BPY. This is always required in the script. Press return for a new line. Let's increase the font size in Toolshelf for a better view. Type from Math-Utils import vector with a capital V because we need the vector function. Press return twice and type run this script to reset design figurine IK target positions. Press return for a new line and type provided the IK targets are present, no selection is needed. Then press return twice. Now make a selection across the two sentences you just typed and from the Format menu choose Comment. Move the cursor down 2 lines and type bpy.data.objects left square bracket single quote df underscore ik underscore l underscore shin single quote right square bracket dot location equal sign vector with a capital V, 2 open brackets and 2 closing brackets, the regular ones, not square. Make sure there is no space between vector and the brackets after it. Then select this line, copy it, press return and paste. Repeat another 4 times for a total of 6 of these lines. Go through each line after the first and rename the objects to match the other IK targets. L ankle, L thigh, R shin, R ankle, R thigh. In Outliner, select the L shin target, then look at its position in Object Properties panel. Resize the Properties window to ensure the location fields are entirely visible. Enter the X, Y and Z values between the double brackets of the first vector function, separating the values with a comma and a space, like so. Your values might be slightly different from mine. Select the L ankle target and enter its location values in the second vector function. Repeat for the other targets, copying their positions into the script. When done, test the script by clicking Run Script. If you have typed the script correctly, no error pop-up will appear. Great, we'll use the script later. Switch back to 3D view. Let's create a fighting pose. Select the hips bone, then press W, choose Clear User Transforms All, so we're ready to start again. Press numpad 3 for side view, then G and move the hips bone down into a crouching position. Select the chest bone, enable Auto IK and move the bone into a forward curving position. Bring the arms down, moving the hands and the upper arms as needed. select each hand group of bones in turn and apply the fist pose. Use Ctrl-click to select the shin IK targets and move them for a more stable and combative stance. I'm also moving the left ankle for some variation. To bend the toes, rotate the toes bone. Press A once or twice to select all bones, then add the pose to the library. Name it Fighting. OK, let's return the rig to its default position. Select a bone and press W, choose Clear User Transforms All. Switch to Text Editor window and click Run Script. Return to 3D view. The figurine is ready for more posing and indeed animation. And with that, on to part 5 of this tutorial, where we animate the figurine in a simple walk cycle.